guys, my name is Lena Sophia. I am an artist and fine jewelry designer. If you like contemporary fine jewelry, if you like luxury handbags, all things interiors, and I have some fun videos for you. Today, I thought I'd throw out some newness and give you guys some of my interior vibes. This is gonna be my top 10 favorite contemporary artists. If you guys are new here, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you in all of my future videos. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Instagram at Lena Sophia Jewelry. I put out videos every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, and so I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. My first favorite artist, I found her, and I was like, this is it. This is my favorite kind of genre of 3D art. This is Jane Yang. Oh, are you guys seeing this? Like ceramics, to me, truly there's not much better. It's just such a beautiful, grounding art form, and her pieces, I'm dying. Like, it's just the epitome of, I don't know, form and silhouette. The way that like she creates these dripping, beautiful, unique moments on each one of her pieces, it's beyond brilliant. Another, like, newer find, Lena Sophia. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, please forgive me, but when I found this, I was like, what? Speechless. Truly, truly speechless. These pieces, do you even understand? I would literally sell so many things to get one of her pieces one day. Like, truly, again, something about sculptures to me are just, it's just so, I don't know. It's really like humanistic. Like, there's something in us that I think humans for so long have been creating art and building art. And the way that she does these very abstract kind of sculptures, and some of them look like little monsters, and some of them look out of like a fantasy novel, and yet it's done in such a sophisticated way that again, speechless. Like, this is something, as all of these artists on this list, I would like put up on a mantle as my pride and joy. An artist who I have always really loved, I think it was the cover of High Snobiety or Hype Beast, one of those that I got. This was years ago, and I was like, hello, this is incredible. Thank you for introducing me to this incredible artist, Reginald Sylvester II. Such an amazing contemporary artist, particularly the pieces that he's been doing recently. Almost like his signature kind of dripping, very muddy, muddled colors, but with deconstructed canvases, beyond. It's so incredible to see an artist's journey in real time. He's a young artist. He lives here in New York City, I believe, or at least has in the past. I've had the pleasure of meeting him, and he's just such an incredible person. His taste, his style, everything is really, I think, what the art world needs. And for some reason, again, I'll say, these newer gallery shows are just like beyond. There's something, obviously, we see in this list and my previous videos, something about like something being a little off or a little bit different or a little bit unexpected, a little bit unnatural, like deconstructing a canvas or having something out of place, I think is so genius and very poetic and kind of mirrors life. And I think that he brings so much of that kind of poetry into his own work. His sculptures are incredible. absolutely follow Reginald Sylvester for an icon. An icon. If you guys have ever seen, which is such a nostalgic, I can't really watch it that often because it makes me cry a lot, the movie Basquiat by Julian Schnabel. Julian Schnabel is an incredible director, of course, but his work, he was a close friend of Jean-Michel Basquiat and all of the kind of major, incredible, iconic, just forever stamped in our history artists of the 80s and 90s. And Julian Schnabel, his own work, I think, is so cool. The fact that he's had kind of multiple lives almost in his own art. Literally, my phone, which I don't know if that's gonna show you, but my phone background is him. I am so drawn to that, like, very abstract, beautifully, extremely expansive lines that he puts on canvas. If you guys have seen, I don't know if I'm like putting this on blast, but his house, he has a building in the West Village that is all pink. So if you've ever been in the Whitney Museum, you can actually see his home. He's a New York icon, and again, using that word because I feel that way about these artists. And the fact that he's just had such an incredibly expansive, long career is really, really, really unique and special. For someone who I've talked about before, I was lucky enough to go to one of his gallery shows. When was that? Almost, I don't know, maybe a year ago, maybe 6 months ago. Min Jae Kim. I'm putting him in the artist category because he is a furniture designer, but I think of him as an artist. Again, similarly, I hope one day to be able to purchase one of his chairs, in particular, a lamp of his, something, because my God, when I tell you, I think I found his pieces a little while ago, and then I just delved deeper and deeper and deeper. The way that he constructs these chairs is so out of this world. Again, with me, I think there's something about like finding beauty in the simplicity. Something so simple turned into something so unique and unlike anything else. Something as simple as a chair, right? Like, we're just sitting in one right now. It's so rare to find a designer who just like throws away, you know, kind of either what society has taught us is beautiful. I feel like I have done that maybe to an extreme level in my own jewelry design world. And I'm a champion of us people who are just like, nope, we're going against the norm. And I think he's gotten such like just astronomical amounts of praise, especially in the last couple years, and rightfully so. I have his apartmento feature that is brilliant. If you guys, if it's still around, highly recommend. Just follow him on Instagram. It's truly a delight to see all of his work. And I love that he really, really shows his process more than a lot of artists, way more than me, because I'm terrible at that. And it's a true delight. An artist that I've followed actually for years, I've actually talked about her before, because on a total side note, she has one of the best, I think, taste. I think she just has really, really beautiful taste in bags. And we're probably just very similar in that regard. This is Fon Min Lao, or Liao. Again, please forgive me for all of these horrible pronunciations. Unlike most of the other artists on this list, her pieces are quite expansive and quite simplistic. They're often, from what I've seen, primarily two-toned. And it's really cool that I'm drawn to them, because I'm usually drawn to like extraordinarily abstract pieces. You guys see behind me, that's one of my pieces. Busier, let's say, even if it's only a couple tones, and hers are so calming. They're so relaxing. There's something so beautiful in the shapes of them, clearly very organic, but also refined in an interesting way. They're obviously not, you know, angled shapes, but you see kind of uniformity in them. She's someone who I just love, is a joy to follow, because I don't know, everything, like even like the pieces that she wears, again, truly like the bag, she's so beautiful. Something about the way that she carries herself in her life really is reflected back in her art, and I am a huge fan. A new icon, or maybe not new, but a modern icon. This is Miles Greenberg. Not newer to me necessarily, but I've delved into his pieces a lot more recently, and my gosh, again, we see I'm a fan of sculpture. I'm also a fan of performance art. His pieces are stark and humanistic and violent, and I think that it is just, I mean, it's like, it's hard to describe because it's beyond what I could ever conceive of in my own brain. His work, I think, is above all else important, and I wish I, you know, could have an invite to one of those kind of private showings of his shows, because they seem so special and timeless and unique and yet in the moment. And he is just truly an incredible young artist. I'm gonna throw in a weird one for you guys, because now you're seeing how weird I am. I have one piece. I have a piece from an artist named Blammo. When I tell you I bought this 3 years ago during the pandemic as a little pick-me-up for myself, like right when it started, Blammo is one of those artists who my weird, artsy, nerdy self, he just brings it right out. Again, like when I was talking about in my unique bag videos, like the Rick Owens bunny, like we see the vibes. He has had kind of cool little shows in hotels. Of course, amongst his own shows, he's had little pop-ups with these toys. And when I saw them for the first time, I swear to you, I had one saved on Pinterest for like years, until I was like, I'm a grown-up, I can buy one. They're not very expensive, but you know, for buying a piece that it was a change in my brain of being like, yes, we are gonna go for it. I am a huge fan. He does like masks and kids' clothes and these toys and keychains. The art is fun and whimsical and yet dark, and that is, I'm a sucker for it. An artist who I also know personally, who I was so excited to add onto this list, is Stealing Roses. I've talked about this piece probably several times. I have a custom piece by this incredible, incredible human. It is one rose and one lily. I said that in my apartment video, my aunt passed away 6.5 years ago almost, which is quite surreal. Her name was Susan, and Susan means lily, and I have an affinity especially for dried roses, and so I had him make a combo of the two to represent our relationship. Very sentimental, I know. I had him make a triple lily sculpture for my mom as a gift after my aunt passed away. And the joy that it's brought us both, I think, is quite immense. His pieces are just beyond. Again, we love those kind of like stark sculptures. They're harder than a lot of artists on this list. There is something almost kind of volatile and beautiful and poetic in creating art from steel, and just the way that he works. I love when he shows his process, because working with steel is very intense, I can imagine, and it is almost a violent process, and so making something so beautiful out of something so harsh and kind of seen as so utilitarian is truly a beautiful process that I think all of you guys should check out. For a newer artist, or not a newer artist, an incredible designer, Samuel Ross of A Cold Wall. I bought one of his sweatshirts like years ago when A Cold Wall first started. It has like duct tape on it. It's messy. It's so cool. And he has been showing his art lately, and maybe I'm late to it, or maybe it really is kind of just a newer part of his process and a newer form of expression. His art is like, wouldn't expect anything less. His art is so beautiful. Again, you know, us designers are artists, and especially for someone like him who I've seen his process really, he's just so involved. I've watched a lot of interviews with him. I'm a huge fan. Even just like his tattoos are the most beautiful tattoos I think I've seen on anyone. And you can tell that that he just embodies his work. His paintings are expansive and gigantic in layman's terms, and so dynamic. I guess I'm a sucker for when pieces are made from very kind of similar tones and yet jump out at you. And that is so hard to do. So hard to do. And he just does it. He does it so well. I feel like we should all be honored that he's sharing this side of his art brain with us. And lastly, as a little bonus, unfortunately, I believe this is the only artist on this list who is no longer with us. This is Lawrence Carroll. Again, you know, I'm a Pinterest girl, right? I was a Tumblr girl. It's just a thing. I think his paintings might be my number one, like, saved images. They are if I could afford it, which I probably will never be able to, if I could afford it, I would probably fill an entire home with these works. Again, something about, we're seeing a theme here. Like, it's the tonality that is so unified and yet so alive at the same time. Doing that on canvas with your hands is so hard. And the way that he makes these pieces so almost interactive while being so abstract is beyond me, is beyond what I will ever be able to achieve in my artistic career. And I am such a huge fan. You know, the different elements that he's played with, the different kind of additive sculptural elements that he had, unfortunately, added into his work is so beautiful. I know that abstract work is not for everybody. It is clearly my favorite genre. And there's many different kind of genres within the genre, but we see the kind of almost more organic, almost violent in a way. Abstract works are my favorite. My favorite artist is Kazuo Shiraga. If we're doing, you know, maybe I'll do I do a favorite artist of all time video. These are modern contemporary artists whom I love and love. But we see what's happening. Just like expansive, huge, either brush strokes when the artists use something other than brushes, use their bodies or other elements. Lawrence Carroll did his work so brilliantly, and one day, you know, that would be a goal. Thank you guys so much. A little deviation as always. We know I love a little random thing thrown in here, but to add into our interiors kind of vibes on this channel, these are just artists who I truly on a daily basis am inspired by, whether it's following them on Instagram or Pinterest. If any of them jump out to you, I highly recommend. Thank you guys as always. I can't wait to see you in my future videos. Make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Instagram at Lena Sophia Jewelry. I cannot wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.